everyone, and welcome to the Always Keep Ice in Your Pocket presentation. My name is Brooke, and today I will be telling you all about this project, my mice, and the medical ID feature on cell phones. Throughout the presentation, feel free to input any questions you have into the chat box, and I will answer them at the end of the presentation during the Q&A session. Now, let's get into it. Always Keep Ice in Your Pocket is a Girl Scout Gold Award project dedicated to stressing the importance of and promoting the use of carrying a form of identification, physical and/or digital, that contains essential personal, medical, and emergency contact information. It is my goal that all of you watching today will become educated about why it's so important to carry medical identification and will pass this information on to your family members and friends to ensure they are also prepared in case of emergency. So you may be thinking, why is it important to carry medical information? Well, I started this project after hearing tragic stories of people who got into accidents and did not have proper identification on them to let emergency workers identify and safely treat them. Should you ever become incapacitated and need to be treated by an emergency worker, the worker needs to be able to identify you, know your essential medical information, such as allergies and the medications you currently take, and know who your emergency contacts are and how they can get in contact with them. So, as I mentioned before, there are two different forms of emergency information you can carry, the physical form and the digital form. Let's go over the physical identification first. I created and designed mice. And no, this project does not have anything to do with rodent control, because it has nothing to do with the creatures that catch, chase, and that I'm really afraid of. So you have no reason at all to be afraid of these mice, because these mice are here to help you. MICE stands for Medical Information Card for Emergency. It is a small, lightweight card you can carry in your wallet. It contains essential information emergency workers need in order to treat you safely in case you ever become incapacitated. The mice contains your name, date of birth, address, emergency contacts. Then just a side note with the emergency contacts, you need to write at least one in case one of your contacts is with you at the time you get incapacitated, because then the emergency workers will have someone else to call other than the person already with you. And who knows, maybe they're incapacitated too. So you need to have at least one emergency contact written. Then there's your healthcare provider, known allergies, known medical conditions, and the medications you currently take. Some of you may have your mice already out in front of you. Others, maybe it's in the mail. I've mailed some of you your mice. And some of you just may not have mice in general. Well, don't worry. You can print your own set of mice from my website. I'll show you exactly where to find them at the end of this PowerPoint. I'll show you the whole website and where you could get your own. So I'm going to be filling out step by step how to fill out the mice. So I'll dedicate a few seconds after each instruction so you can either fill out the mice and/or just take notes on the side. You could take notes on your phone, on a piece of paper, just anything that'll help you remember how you could fill the mice out later. So, the mice is the size of a standard credit card, meaning it fits perfectly into your wallet. You could put it in those little slots that your wallet has. You could put it right in between your credit card and your Starbucks rewards card. That's what I'm doing. So the top and side of the card say in bold letters, Medical Information Card for Emergency. When you finish filling the card out, please place your card into your wallet with that phrase facing upwards. By doing this, emergency workers can easily find your medical information when they look for your identification. So the mice has a front and a back side. The front side of the card contains your basic information. The first thing on the card is your full name. So fill out your name in the space provided now. After is your DOB, or date of birth. Write your birthday on the line provided now. Next is your address. Write your address on the line. Then are your emergency contacts. As I mentioned before, write more than one person. Write the person's name and phone number on the lines provided. After is your healthcare provider. Write his or her name and phone number on the line at the bottom of the card. Great, so now we have the front side of the card filled out. Flip to the other side to fill out the rest. This side of the card has your medical information. Emergency workers will look at this side of the card and will base your treatment off of the information you write here. So if you have the mice out in front of you, you can see that in comparison to the front side, the back side of the card has less information but more lines, because some people may have a lot of allergies or medications. So there's a lot of lines, you could take your time filling it out. Now let's fill it out. So the first thing on the back side of the card are your known allergies. Please write the allergies you have on the space provided. I include the word known here because some people think they do not have any allergies, but they might have some they are not aware of. If this description sounds like you, please write none known. Again, that's none known. I just typed it out and sent it in the chat box for you all to see. It is better to write none known instead of leaving the entire section blank so emergency workers are not questioning whether you have any allergies or not. So if you left the whole section blank, if you ever become incapacitated, the emergency worker will pull out your mice and say, "Oh, did this person forget about the allergies section, or are they not telling us about their allergies?" Or it's just a whole lot of questions, and it's just easier if you write down none known if you're not aware of any allergies you have. Next are your known medical conditions. Write the medical conditions you have on the space provided. Again, the word known is here. Some people think they do not have any medical conditions, but they might have some they are not aware of. If this description sounds like you, please write none known. Again, that's none known. It is better to write none known instead of leaving the entire section blank so emergency workers are not questioning whether you have any medical conditions or not. So I already typed out none known in the chat for you guys. You could write it down if you think you're healthy and don't have any medical conditions. So you could take time to do that now. Last is your medications. Write the medications you currently take on the space below. Congratulations! Give yourself a pat on the back, you just finished completing your mice. So, take time now to place it in your wallet with the bold medical information card for emergency face up. You need to make sure that phrase is entirely visible in your wallet. Now, let's talk about digital emergency information. Did you know that all modern phones allow you to input your emergency information? It's really cool. The medical ID is a feature on your phone that contains essential emergency information. If you ever become incapacitated, an emergency worker will be able to treat you safely and contact your emergency contacts simply by opening this feature. They can access it even if your phone is locked. The medical ID feature is basically a digital mice, except there are a few differences. The medical ID feature contains medical notes, your blood type, and just a side note on the blood type. If you don't know your blood type or don't want to share it in the medical ID, you don't have to. Because if you get into an accident and need a blood transfusion, the emergency workers on site and in the hospital will give you the universal blood type, O negative. So if you don't know it, that's okay, because everyone's able to get O negative. So after that is whether or not you're an organ donor, your weight, and then your height. So we're going to look at how you can set up the medical ID feature on your phone. I have 3 separate sets of instructions: Apple, Android, and Samsung. We're going to go over a brief general overview of how you could set all 3 of them up right now, but there are more detailed instructions on my website. I will show you exactly where to find them at the end of this PowerPoint. So if you're sitting here watching and you're like, my phone doesn't do that, don't worry, because the website has the instructions for your specific phone. So just like I did with the mice, I'm going to read the instructions and then give you guys a couple seconds after so you could fill out your medical ID feature or take notes. First, let's look at Apple iPhones. You set up your medical ID in the Health app, and its icon is shown here in the top right corner. A super important thing to note is that you must have the Health app set up prior to filling out the medical ID. You will know if you have to set the app up if you open it and then it's like, welcome to the Health app, and you scroll down and there's a blue bar that says next. So you just tap next, you enter whatever information they want to know. It's kind of just basic stuff like your name and then something about like, do you want to sync with iCloud? Like that stuff. So you just kind of skip through that, and then once you get to the actual screen, in the bottom right corner, there is a tab that says Medical ID. So you tap on that tab, and then in the top right, there's a button that says Edit. So this is the general rule for older iPhones. If you have a newer iPhone, then you would tap, as soon as you finish setting the Health app up, you tap the top right corner. There's a little circle that has like an icon there. You tap that, and then the second drop down says Medical ID. And then you would tap that, and you both end up tapping Edit. So then you enter your medical information in the spaces provided. Once you're done and you know everything in there is accurate, you click Done. And there's a button on the older phones, it's in the top of the Edit screen, and in the newer phones it's at the bottom, right under Emergency Contacts, and it says Show when locked. You need to make sure that button is green before you hit Done, because if you leave the button white, then the Medical ID tab won't show up on your lock screen. So you just flick it, make sure it's green. Sometimes it's automatically green. So you just make sure it's green, and then you tap Done. So then the information will be accessible from your lock screen by tapping the Home button to try to get into your phone. And then once it brings you to the screen where you enter your passcode, look in the bottom left corner. There's a button that says Emergency. So you tap that, and it brings you to a screen where you can make an emergency call. And then in the bottom left corner again, there's red letters that say medical ID. So you tap that and it brings you to your medical ID. So you can fill that out now. Next, let's look at Android phones. And Android phones include Motorola's, Google, OnePlus, and Sony phones. So they don't have a health app, so you need to do this through settings. So first, you open the settings app, and then you tap System, which is usually found at the bottom of the screen, and then you tap About Phone, and then you tap Emergency Information. You click Edit, and then you enter whatever information you'd like to share. So that's how you enter the medical information, and below where it says medical information, there's the emergency contact section. So you just tap Add Contact, and if you don't see Add Contact to tap on, you may first have to tap Contacts. Once you're finished and you go back to Settings, you're done. There's no Done button, so it just automatically saves. So emergency workers will be able to get to your medical ID by turning your phone on from sleep mode. They swipe up as if they were going to enter your passcode. And then underneath the passcode keypad, there's a button that says Emergency. So they tap on Emergency, and then it brings you to the screen where you can make an emergency call. And at the top of the screen is a black bar that says Emergency Information. So you tap on Emergency Information, and then it's going to flash red. So you tap on Emergency Information again, and then it brings you to your emergency information. So that's how you would find it if you have an Android. Finally, let's look at Samsung Galaxy phones. It's super important to note that these phones do not have a direct medical ID feature. You must enter your medical information in Settings, and it will automatically appear on your lock screen once you tap Done. So to add your medical information, first you go to Settings, and then you tap Lock Screen and Security, then you tap Info and App Shortcuts, and then you tap Owner Information. You enter your emergency medical information, and then when you're finished and the information is accurate, you tap Done. So to add your emergency contacts, you'll need to add phone numbers to the ICE in case of emergency, contacts group in the Contacts app. So you open the Contacts app, and then you tap on the Groups button in the top right corner. Tap on the ICE Emergency Contacts group and add your emergency contacts. When you're finished, hit Save. To enable the calling of emergency contacts from the lock screen, first, make sure your phone is locked. Then go to the lock screen without actually unlocking it. Hold the phone icon and quickly drag it to the center of the screen. When the keypad shows up, hit the Emergency Call button. Then, you add contacts from your emergency group by hitting the plus symbol by each new contact. You can have up to 3 contacts from the ICE group. Once you're finished, your information will now appear on the lock screen. So that's the end of the PowerPoint. So now we're going to move into the Q&A session. If you have any questions or would like me to repeat something, please place your request into the chat box and I will be happy to answer them. The questions can be about anything, like the project itself, or the mice, or the medical ID feature. See in chat we have a compliment on the music. Thank you. I put a lot of thought into the music today. Okay, so I'll just go over some frequently asked questions while we're waiting for the questions to pour in, because we have a very chatty viewers tonight. But in the meantime, on the screen right now, you can see in the white letters the URL for the website. So you could copy that down or take a picture of it or pull it up on a separate device, because I'll show you exactly where to find and get your own mice, and where to find the more detailed instructions about how to input the medical ID feature on the 3 different types of phones. But first, let's go over some frequently asked questions. So one of the questions I have been getting is, what exactly is the Gold Award? Because as I mentioned before, this is a Girl Scout Gold Award project. So the Girl Scout Gold Award is the highest earning award a Girl Scout can get. It is a project that not only benefits the girls' community, but also has a national and global link. So through this live stream and through my website, anyone in the world can just tune in and learn about how to get their own mice and how to get the medical ID on their phone. So it's basically, as long as you have an internet and some sort of device, you can find my website, which is really cool. See in chat, how long does it take to get the Gold Award? It depends. I mean, I was on the internet the other day and I saw someone was like, I got the whole thing in 1 week. I was like, oh, okay. I know for other girls it's taken a year. For me, it's been taking, well, it depends. Because I don't really, Because then you need at least 80 hours of work, and the hours you spend trying to come up with an idea count. And it's 2020. I started coming up with and brainstorming ideas back in like late 2017. So it's been almost 3 years in the making. But, I mean, thankfully, I should be getting my Gold Award within the next month. Another question I got is, do you have to write the relationship you have with your emergency contacts on the mice? And the answer to that is maybe. Because if you have your mice out in front of you and you're writing the person's first name, last name, and phone number, it is a little bit of a tight squeeze. So if you're trying to like squeeze everything in there just so you can write like, oh, mother, father, son, daughter, sister, brother, like that, then it's not worth it. Because the emergency workers are more concerned about just getting in contact with that person and knowing their name so that that person could come help you. So if you're trying to like squeeze all that information in there and it's not legible and you can't read it, then you shouldn't do it. Do you have any questions for the audience? I don't think so. No, I think I'm okay. Another question I got was, does your emergency contact have to live nearby you? And this was a really good question that I've been thinking of for the past 2 days. And the answer to that is, while trying to come up with someone to choose for your emergency contact, you need to choose someone who you know will pick up the phone and drop everything to go meet you at the hospital or the site of the accident. Like, it doesn't matter if they live, like, it would be ideal if they did live nearby, but then I was thinking, like, what if you're traveling to another country or out of state? Then that person won't be nearby you. So you just need to choose someone who you know will be reliable, someone that you can trust and you know will come and help you. So, now I'll show you guys the website. Pull it up. Okay, this is the website created and designed by yours truly. You can see this is the home page. You can see the about and the why carry emergency information. And then once you scroll to the top, you can see we have the 3 separate tabs. So the first one is the home. You just click this and it brings you to this screen. Second one is medical information card for emergency. You know, the mice. So you click on information and it brings you to everything I went over about why it's important, blah, blah, blah. And then once you click download and print, it'll bring you to this page and you click download now and the website brings you to a separate tab with a PDF of 8 mice. It's 2 sheets long, so it would be ideal that you print it double-sided, but if that's not the case, then you could always just glue it or tape it together. So as I said, there are 8 mice per sheet. So you keep one for yourself, and then give the 7 other to your family members or your friends or other students in your school, coworkers, anyone. Because it's super important that everyone is prepared in case they get into an emergency. So you can scroll back up, and then we have the Cellular Devices tab. So again, the information has all the information about the medical ID, and then Apple's, Android, and Samsung, those tabs have the more detailed instructions that cater to every phone. So if I click on Apple, Apple came out with so many iPhones, and unfortunately they all have different instructions. It's not the same. So as you can see, we have a big picture of the health app icon in the top right. We have the most recent phones at the top of the screen, and as you scroll down, you get to the older phones, and they all show you how to set it up and how you can access it. So, normally right now, I would be telling you guys about, oh, this is the end of the presentation. You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter and look at the schedule for the rest of the week and see when we have more live streams. But this is the last live stream ever. So, now I guess I say my thank you speech while playing this awesome song in the back from the video game Animal Crossing, because it's really good. So thank you to all my loyal fans and supporters who have stuck with me this whole journey. As I said, I've been working on this project since 2017, so it is really nice to see it all come together, and now that it's coming to an end, I am a little bit upset, but I know I do have the big things ahead. For those of you that don't know, I want to become a nurse, and this project really just sparked and continued my interest in nursing. So it's super important that I did this project, because maybe I'll be helping one of you guys one day if you ever get into an accident. So thank you all so much for tuning in, if this is your first live stream or if it's your 10th, because I held 10 this week, and I'm pretty exhausted, but it's okay. I see we have another question in chat. Is Ice in Pocket on Instagram as well? Yes, you could see right here the Instagram account. You could follow us. We'll still be posting some more. And we also have a Twitter page where we will be posting. You could see we include a lot of hashtags, which is really fun. I like hashtags. So again, truly, from the bottom of my heart, thank you all so much for tuning in. Your support and basically just your views really mean a lot to me, so I can measure how many people I got per stream and say I educated this amount of people. And it's super special just to know, oh, I've helped out. At this point, I think I'm getting close to like over 100 people that I've educated, which is really cool. I feel like some sort of teacher. And it's really amazing that you all were able to tune in today, and yet you all were able to listen to me give my spiel. And I'm just super excited for what the future has, and I hope you will be as well. So, I guess this is going to be the end of the presentation. Thank you so much again. And I hope that I educated at least one of you. If I reached at least one of you, then I know that my job is done here. And if I educated more than that, I hope you go out and you educate and you teach your family members and your friends and coworkers and other members of your athletic team or classmates. Because this project is super important. And if we all can have some sort of medical information on us, then it'll make all these accidents and incapacitations less scary. And the world will truly be a better place, which is what the goal of the Gold Award is. So I hope you all have a great weekend. I know I am. I'm going to have a big bowl of ice cream to celebrate after this. So be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and I hope you all have a great weekend.